Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is
Waalaikumsalam
Junenda
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Nulfada. Okay. My name is Junenda Nulfada on behalf of Telecommunication Engineering Program together with International Office of Telkom University. We present this joint class program. And for today's class, it's between Telkom University together with Kumoh National Institute of Technology. Thank you very much for our distinguished speaker. We have Professor Moo Lim from Telkom University and from Kumoh National Institute of Technology. And also we have Dr. Miftadi Sudjai from Telkom University. Thank you very much for generously sharing your time and also expertise for today's class. We really appreciate your contribution. And for today's topic, we have really very interesting topic related with biomedical engineering and also telecommunication, implementation of telecommunication for improving healthcare services, especially for in Indonesia. So we hope this joint class program will be a very meaningful platform for exchanging our research insight and also maybe exploring our future collaboration between these two universities. So once again, thank you very much for Professor Moo Lim and also Dr. Miftadi Sudjai. And for all Studium General Lecture and also for all the students who participated in this program. We hope this program will enriching our knowledge and also productive experience for all of us. And for today's class, we will lead by Mr. Iga Narendra as moderator for today's class. So please enjoy the class, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, I think I can proceed. All right. So, good afternoon, everyone, distinguished guests, faculty members, and fellow students. Welcome to the online joint class of 2026 with theme Advancing Future Healthcare Cardiovascular Digital Twins and Telemedicine for Equitable Access. Hello, I'm Iga Narendra from Biomedical Engineering Department, and it's my pleasure to be your moderator and host for today's session. This event is a special collaboration between Telkom University and Kumoh National Institute of Technology. Our goal is to explore how cutting-edge technology, ranging from digital twins to satellite-based telemedicine, can serve as tangible solutions to create more equitable healthcare access, particularly for communities across Indonesia's archipelagic regions. We have structured today's class into two main sessions. In our first session, we will discuss towards cardiovascular digital twins, in silico cardiac modeling, and computational electrophysiology for an animal-free testing with Professor Moo Lim from Kumoh National Institute of Technology. In our second session, we'll continue with the topic of telemedicine via satellite, a new hope for providing equitable access to quality healthcare for Indonesia's archipelagic communities with Dr. Miftadi Sudjai, M.Sc. PhD. Distinguished guests, our first speaker today is a leading expert in the field of biomedical engineering and computational medicine. He is currently a professor at the Department of Medical IT Convergence Engineering at the Kumoh National Institute of Technology, or KIT, in South Korea. He's also served as the CEO of MetaHeart Incorporated, a company that is the forefront of cardiac digital twin technology. With a PhD in biomedical engineering from Seoul National University and experience as a postdoctoral researcher at Johns Hopkins University in the United States, his work bridges gap between complex cardiac modeling and clinical applications. His research interests are really vast, ranging from in silico cardiac modeling, computational electrophysiology, and application of AI and machine learning in diagnostic arrhythmias and other heart failures. Today, he will share his insights on towards cardiovascular digital twins, in silico cardiac modeling, and computational electrophysiology for a future animal-free testing. Please join me in welcoming of Professor Moo Lim. Hello, Professor. Are you there?
Hello, Iga. Thank you for introduction of my.
Glad to see you, Professor.
See you again. Yeah, good. Very good to see you.
Let's try to share your slides, your PPT.
Yeah.
Okay, it's visible now.
Is that screen?
Yeah, we can see your screen, Professor. Your
Okay.
slide, I mean. Yes.
So this is a screen. It's a full screen, or is that okay?
Yeah, it's full screen, Professor.
Okay,
Yes.
right.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, without further ado, let us begin our first session. Professor Moo Lim, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Moo Lim in the Kumoh National Institute of Technology, Biomedical Engineering Department. So I'm very honored to have a chance of giving you my talk in the student in the Telkom University in Indonesia. So so I will start my talk. My talk is about cardiovascular digital twin. So you might know about the concept of the digital twin. So I'm going to talk about developing the digital twin of the biological system, especially cardiovascular system. And in the in silico cardiac modeling, I'll talk about the modeling of in silico cardiac system and computational electrophysiology for the animal-free testing. So in the worldwide, we have this is a trend is changing not to have animal sacrifice. So including America, Europe, and Asia, we are trying not to have animal experiment for the research. So this digital twin and in silico study is one of the alternative way to research the alternative as an animal alternative way. So I'm going to explain that. So yeah, I'm from the Kumoh National Institute of Technology in South Korea. Maybe we can see some short video first. Oh. Oh, maybe video seems not working.
Yeah, we couldn't see the video.
Yeah,
I think we can proceed, Professor. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, as I said, there's an issue in the animal ethic issue in the research. So we try not to have the animal experiment, and also even we do the animal experiment, that the result from the animal is very different from the human. So that's why we try not to have the animal experiment as well. That is the one of the other reason. And the guideline when we develop the new drugs, there is guidelines you have to satisfy in the guideline from the FDA or in the Food and the Drug organization, regulatory organization. You have to satisfy the guideline. So that guideline it's the very difficult to make it satisfactory. So there's another reason we need to change the guidelines, which are very difficult. Doing the experiment for the guideline is easy, but the guideline is not very working well for the new drug testing. So it's time to change the guideline. And this is the roadmap to the animal alternative testing in the preclinical safety study 2025 from FDA. For the animal alternative ways, they emphasize the organ-on-a-chip systems and the computational modeling and advanced in vitro assay. So what I'm going to explain is the computational modeling part here. But nowadays, it's computational study is become very growing a lot. Okay, so we have AI technologies and computer simulation technology. So it's any industries we use that. But just 100 years ago, or 10 years ago, it's not like trend like this. It's very hard to do to prove something using the computational studies. It has been changed dramatically. Even in the 100 years ago, Einstein also complained about that. Theory computational study is something nobody believes except the person who made it. But the experimental study is something everybody believes except the person who made it. That's a kind of a contradictory statement. So I'm start explaining cardiac electrophysiology first. So what is a cardiac electrophysiologist? Since 1952, the two scientists, Hodgkin and Huxley, two scientists has developed mathematical model of neuronal axonal the membrane mathematical models from the giant squid. So they have developed mathematical model like that using the capacitor and the resistor and the battery. So from the cellular membrane in the neurons. Okay? So this is a mathematical model of the cellular membrane in the neuron. Because the cellular membrane consists of the phospholipid layer, which is insulated to the electricity, and the protein's ion channel is a kind of hole for the channel for the specific ion can pass across. So the electrical capacitor, characteristic of the electrical capacitor is very similar to the cellular membrane, which is a phospholipid layer. And they model the ionic channels as electrical resistances. So there is a sodium channel and the potassium channel and the leakage channel. So they made a schematic of that, and they did experiment to identify the characteristics of the individual ionic channels. That's the first mathematical model of the excitable cell, which is a neuron. How they did identify the parameter characteristic in the mathematical model of the neuron by patch clamp experiment. So this is a neuronal cells, and as you see, this is a micropipette. Micropipette diameter of that is around 1 micrometer. So this is a micropipette, and attached to the cellular membrane and split piece of the cellular membrane. So this cellular membrane is isolated from the cells, and they move it to the in vitro, and they can do the experiment with this one. So what they did is apply the voltage between this side of the protein and this side of the protein. So this is extracellular space, and this is intracellular space. So they apply the voltage difference between the intracellular and the extracellular side. Then they observe the electrical current generated across this ionic channel. So they made the step input, and they record electrical current.
Nhớ là
So by doing this experiment, they got data, and they did curve fitting, and they made a mathematical model as a first order system. So they obtained the steady state value of the individual gate and the time constant of the gate. So they made first order mathematical model of the ion channel like that. So this is ion current, and this is a driving force, voltage difference, and this part is the conductance like that. So M, H, and the J's are the individual gate for the sodium channel. So they did the experiment, patch clamp experiment on the individual gate. Then they revealed the characteristic of the gate, M, H, and J, and this model is completed. Okay. So the Hodgkin and Huxley created the first neuronal mathematical model of electrophysiology. And in 1961, the Dennis Noble developed the first the cardiac cell mathematical model. And later, 1994, the Luo-Rudy group developed a very sophisticated canine ventricular cell model. And 2003 to 2004, the Tantusha group developed the human ventricular cell model, which is very, they upgraded from the Luo-Rudy model, which is the canine model, to the human ventricular cell model. And at this time, after 2021 centuries, the computation power is grown more. So we were able to simulate in the single cell as well as tissue simulation since then. And after that, and the Rudy group again, they have developed more sophisticated human ventricular cell models, okay, which is more reliable for the testing of the drug in 2011. So this is a history of the mathematical model of electrophysiology. So since 1962 to 2020, it has been updated so far. So I'm going to introduce what we have developed from now. So in the FDA and Europe and Japan and then Korea as well, so we are trying to change the guideline for the cardiac toxicity assessment under the drug. So this is the framework for doing the cardiotoxicity evaluation as an animal alternative way. So they emphasize to use in silico computational study and stem cell tissue engineering approach. And here is the clinical studies. Just the before clinical studies, we need to do in silico computational study and the tissue engineering. So computational study should be based on the patch clamp data under the drug. So the pharmacology company which want to develop the new drug, and they did already develop the drug, then they are supposed to do the toxicity evaluation by doing this way. So they need to apply the drug on the patch clamp, and they do experiment like what I said in the patch clamp previous slide. So multi-channel patch clamp has to be done, and they can feed the data to the mathematical model, which can be called virtual drug. That virtual drug is applied to the single cell cardiac cell electrophysiology model. Then that model, we will predict the response of the cardiac cells. Then we observe whether the drug is toxic or not. And in the tissue engineering side, the kind of organoid or the organ on a chip, they has to do the experiment under the drug. Then they observe the tissue response under the drug. and decide whether the drug is toxic or not. So response from the in silico and the tissue, the tissue engineering side, and both of them has to be satisfied to the guideline. Then it can be moved to the clinical study. So we have developed software for the in silico study. So it's called CardioSim, and this follows the FDA's guidelines very, very strictly way. And we have validated our models performance as GLP level, and yeah. So I want to explain the structure of the CardioSim software. So here, as I said, a multi-ion channel patch clamp. From this one, we have the data of the drug, and we feed it, and we move it, apply it to the single electrophysiology model of heart, and we get the action potential or any kind of electrical response from the cell. So this is a kind of a virtual cell. And also we could expand it to the tissue level. So this is electrophysiology model, and we incorporate to the tissue model, which is governed by the electrical conduction. And also we apply it to the image-based whole heart models based on the electrical conduction point of view. So from the single cell and the tissue and the whole organ electrophysiology model has been developed. So what kind of electrophysiology cell model you are using? We don't use what we have developed. We use what already developed in the worldwide. So they are well validated model. So we use the appropriate cellular models. So this one is the from the CT or MRI. It has been segmented, and it has been developed finite element model. Individual node, we apply the electrophysiology model of a cardiac cell. So this is a cardiac electric circuit model of cardiac cell, which are more sophisticated than the Hodgkin-Huxley model, because the cardiac cell has more ion channels and electric pump and exchanger. And also right side is a mechanical model. So cardiac cell is electrically excitable cells, but also it's a mechanically excitable cell. It contracts. So the electrical excitation is kind of electrical source to contract the cardiac cell. So that calcium is triggering the contraction from the electricity. Okay, so we couple the electrophysiological simulation to the mechanical contraction simulation. And for the boundary conditions, the cardiac heart is not stand alone. It's connected to the vascular system, from the artery to the capillary to the venous systems. That's a closed loop cardiovascular system. So the circulation we have implemented in the lumped parameter models. Okay. So the electrical point of views, we solve the communication for the biodomain electrophysiology model. So this is conduction, electrical conduction in the tissue, and this is a single cell excitable electrophysiology model. So we solve this one by computer, then we can get the response of whole heart from the, yeah. And in the electrophysiology side, we have calcium dynamics as well. Calcium is has a very important role in the cardiac cell. So we calculate the calcium transient concentration. This is important because calcium is triggering the contractions right-hand side. So this calcium in the electricity side is here. So this calcium will generate the active tension. TA is active tension. Active tension means it's a shortening force from the single cardiac cell. Then this active tension can affect the mechanical motors. So the whole mechanical motor for the FEM motor is contracting. And yeah, circulatory circulation motor is like that. So lumped parameter motors, it's governed by these equations. So oh, this is working. Okay, so this is the one of the examples in the after simulation. This is a virtual defibrillation simulation. So the ventricle is under the ventricular fibrillation state. This is a very, very dangerous state. The ECG is chaotic and the aortic pressure is very low. And now, right now, the defibrillator has been executed. So it has become back to the sinus rhythm. And so this is one of the example. And by doing the electrophysiology simulation in the whole heart, and then we can obtain the cardiovascular response in the clinical level, such as ECG waveform. We can generate the virtual ECG waveform as well. And this one is done by Anna. This should work or not. Okay, so this is under control, and this is under the drug tamoxifen, and under the drug cisapride and the dopetylide. Dopetylide is a high-risk drug, which is dangerous for the heart. So we can experiment in the virtually. Then you see that something different. This dopetylide lasts longer. This dopetylide lasts longer. So clinically, it has the long QT syndrome. This is a Q wave, and this is the end of T wave. So period between this one to this one is a QT interval. So this is longer than the other. So this is called the long QT syndrome. Long QT syndrome in the clinical observation is not good. It's risky. So we can rebuild the long QT syndrome here under the high-risk drug. And this one as well. This is another drug, Equitable. So this is a very risky drug. So this one triggered ventricular arrhythmia. So it never stopped. It has the reentry. This is a sinus rhythm. This is okay, bit by bit. But this one is never stop. It's like a tornado. It's moving corner to corner and then never stop. So this is called ventricular tachycardia or ventricular fibrillation. So ECG look like this. Okay, so to validate our models, our software, the FDA say that there's guidelines, very, very clear guidelines. We have to validate our model by testing 28 drop, which already has been tested in the patch clamp, and we get those data and apply that, and we will predict the toxicity of them by doing the simulation. So we do, and this one is a criteria. So in order to be validated, you have to satisfy those statistical metrics. 8 of the metric has to be satisfied, like at least this one, minimally acceptable levels. So we did that, and mostly we have the good or excellent. So our performance was more than good. And the data is open in the worldwide. And this is some of the result. So for example, we do the single cell simulation, and we have a biomarker for the toxicity classification. So in the single cell, based on the biomarker, we distribute the biomarker, which has been simulated from the cellular model. So the red is the high risk drug, and the blue is intermediate, and the green is the very low risk, safe risk. So we distributed them, and the red distributed more left side, and the green more right side. So we get the threshold to classify the high risk or low risk. So this left side, left line, red line is the threshold for classifying the high risk. And the blue line in the right side is classifying the low risk. And the 28 drugs distribution of the biomarker is like that. So they're not very clearly separated, but this is reliable. So this performance is not bad. This is more than good. Okay. So we have got the performance. So the dark blue is the excellent, and this is a good. This was one is good and one is accepted. The rest of them are all excellent level. So we have done many kind of the study based on the simulation software. And also we have developed the AI model to classify the drug toxicity based on data from the organoid data, tissue, the stem cell-based tissue engineering perspective. We developed the AI model to classify the drug toxicity as well. And it was also validated well. So some cell line doesn't work. So red is not accepted. So some of them is not working well, but some of them is very good. This side. So yep, this is the comparative advantage of our simulator. We have validated FDA's protocol, and also we created our own protocols to validate them, and also validated. And this is quick using the GPU parallel computation, and we have the automatic report system as well. So once you assume that you are the wet lab researchers, you are researchers in the pharmacology side who are not familiar with the computation, then you just do what you supposed to do, doing patch clamp, and then you give the data to the software, then the report is generated automatically. And that's a very easy for the researchers to analyze the simulation result. Okay, let's look at this one. Okay. And this is an integrated in silico assay platform. So what I have explained is this part. This is a kind of a macro scale simulator computational study. In the whole organ, it can be simulated from the single cell. Okay. Single cell is small, but inside the cell there is a sophisticated mechanism by the protein, the interaction. So here there's another simulation, the concept protein ligand-based molecular docking simulation. So this is about the protein binding simulation. And also the chemical compound can be classified as a toxic or non-toxic based on the database as well. So those things can be connected to our platform, and they can give us the information to here. So this is an integrated platform. So if we have in the future we are going to integrate them all, then we can start from the very simple chemical compound database without the experiment. So so far I have explained the cardiac electrophysiology model and the structure of that and the application of that. So I'm going to tell you that now about the digital twin, how we upgrade the software to become a human digital twin. So this is the structure of that. And here digital twin, you have to individualize the whole mathematical model. So based on the genome, so you use genetic information and sequence, RNA sequence, what kind of genome has been expressed. The expression of the gene is dynamic, it's changing every time. So what is your RNA sequence at this time, or how is it changing? So that's a very, very important information for the specific protein. So that's we can have that database, and also in the clinical trials you can get the ECG waveform very, very easily. So inverse problem solution, we get the ECG waveform and we can inversely predict single cell action potential morphology. Once you know the action potential morphology, you might can predict sodium channel kinetics or potassium channel kinetics in the cell membrane. So from the ECG, that's a very, very challenging. So we are doing that kind of studies. And from the image, you can individualize the shape of the ventricle or atrium, the shape and the size of heart is a very important biomarker. So size is very important. And from the ultrasound, you can have the characteristic of the contraction, or vascular ultrasound can get you the mechanical property of blood vessels, and the heart sound, blood pressure, and the PPG, the kind of a clinical signal can help to estimate the vascular parameter. So this is the way to individualize the cardiovascular system to become a individualized cardiovascular system model as a digital twin. And this is another study, the cancer digital twin. Sorry about the Korean here. So this is it uses a similar way physics-based model, but this is quite different. This is for example, this is the breast cancer. So we predict that this breast cancer can be treated well or not based on the experience so far. For example, here you have your breast cancer now. So this is a pre-treatment, and you do some treatment, and you observe a condition so far here, 35 days here. So from up to 35 days data, you optimize the breast cancer system. Then you will predict after that, up to the 140 days, you predict this one. Or you can have the data of this much, and then you will predict this one. Things like that. So cardiovascular system is a kind of issue in the several seconds, but this one is a several months, several days, several months issue. It's a very long period. But maybe no animation video is not working here as well. Okay, so yeah, so you can see this one. So it is changing, increasing the size of the tumor, and it never stops, it never disappears. But here it's increasing, and by treatment it's decreased and disappear here. This is a successful treatment. If you know this treatment is going to terminate the tumor or not. If you know that, it's very good you have confidence to do that treatment. Okay? That's why we developed this cancer digital twin and use it in the clinical. Okay, and yeah, that's our product. So this is CardioSim, which I have explained. This video is not working as well. Oh, it work or not? Okay. So CardioSim is as a launched and as a product in the cloud service, and we have visualization modules. After simulation, we can more analyze more fancy way with XR. So, okay, and this is the ToxCML. This is a kind of not animal alternative in silico study. This is in silico model as well, but this one is that's in the drug development period, a very early stage. We use this CUSA-based CUSA-based in silico model to screen a lot of the chemical compound which is a candidate of the drug. So we screen them thousands of the candidates. So you have to screen them at the early stage, and you have to reduce the several of the reliable candidate. Then you do the more precise, sophisticated experiment. So this is for the early stage screening software, and this one is a biosignal measurement device. This measured 12 different signals with 16 different sensors. So we measure them simultaneously. So from the ECG and the heart sound and PPG, electromyography, electroencephalography, respiration, things like that, we can measure them simultaneously and synchronized way. Okay? So multimodals, biosignals simultaneously measure the multi-biosignal is very, very useful to predict some biomarker and predict diagnosis, and use it to the AI model. So that's the strong reason to develop this one. Okay, so yep, so I belong to the computational medicine lab with my student, as well as I belong to the MetaHeart company. So we are all working together, and the 18 members. It's a great team. So yeah, so that's all. Thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer you, because I have explained with large spectrums, and maybe your major, you may not be familiar with the cardiac physiology or something. So anyway, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Lim, for that fascinating look into the future of cardiac modeling, what we can give in the future as well. Okay, so Professor Lim mentioned us the history of an implementation of how can we observe biological cells electronically. Then once we have the electrical behavior of it, then we can convert them into a mathematical model that we can put into computers, and we call it as in silico simulation. Well, we also learn a lot that our human organ are really complex, a lot of differential equations needed, and to explain how does it work, and different situation or different some different numbers here and there can tend to different situation, and these complex equations can be implemented to interact one another, and then we call that as digital twins, and this creates a very predictable organ or disease behavior in the future, which is good for us, so we can maybe manipulate or cure the disease. We also learned that through these simulations and calculation, we can also generate similar results just like what we can observe from our body. This is important in animal-free testing, since all the measurements and validation, does this work, does the medicine work or not, really correlated to this. So Professor Lim's company, MetaHeart, is trying to make softwares and products to make things easier for researchers and drug manufacturers to exploit more in computational method. Okay, everyone, any questions? Please raise your hand if you have any questions and open up your mic. Feel free.
Wow, our 443.
Yes, Professor, we have a lot of students today.
I'm so nervous. This is the
Oh,
first time in my life talking to the people, more than 400 people.
Wow, almost 500, I guess. Yeah. Wait, I think someone raised their hand, but maybe I missed. One moment. Yes, someone raised their hand. Feel free. Mas, introduce yourself.
Okay, so thank you for the opportunity. Um, Let me introduce myself. My name is Farrell Ardia, or you can call me Farrell. Since my lecturer told me to say my student ID, it's in Indonesian 1010 123 30 102. Since pretty long, I won't say it in English. First of all, I want to say thank you very much for opening such a big window into this new world. Since I believe majority of these people inside the Zoom meeting is from a telecommunication major that is not very specialized in, I would say, biomedical, or yeah, what you have explained. So there's a lot of new things, a lot of new systems and theories that we have never really been in touch before. So I want to say thank you, Professor. And my question is rather simple. It's about, let's say, for us college students, what part of the theory that you have taught us that we can implement in our research, or simply what are the minor type research that we can do based on this really major research that you and your elite 18 teams members have done, if that made sense. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Farrell.
Thank you for the
I hope
question.
you get the question.
If you are more clearer, you can explain me.
So, Farrell, he's also one of my student, Professor. He asked us about how can a telecommunication engineering major student or engineering major student in general can learn or can implement from what you have just mentioned to us, maybe in terms of using differential equations, or what they can, implement as engineering students outside of the biomedical engineering field.
Yeah, I'm a mechanical engineer, undergraduate student. I was a mechanical engineer. Okay.
Yeah.
So mechanical engineers and electronics, okay, or electrical engineers study the system, and the identify the system's characteristics. That's what we learned, how we identified systems characteristic. Okay, so the same manners we identify the systems, which is a cardiovascular system. So we go very engineering perspective. Okay, so we use a very engineering mathematical model. So electrical conduction, we use electrical conduction. So in the electromagnetic field, you use the Maxwell equations. Okay, so what we use is simpler than the Maxwell equations. We just use electrical conduction equation, and for the single cell, we use electric circuit model, which is not electric circuit, but it's mathematically same in the first order system, nonlinear system. So you have already learned the methodology, but you have to know the where to apply your methodology. In order to do that, you have to learn some theory in another part of the study, so physiology studies. So physiology means physics of the life. Okay, so we learn in the physiology, we learn the mechanism of living things. So once you study the cardiovascular system physiology, that means you study what the system of the cardiovascular system. Okay, then you can apply what you have, the mathematical modeling skill. I hope this is enough answer to you. If this is not enough, you can ask me again.
Thank you. Okay, how was it, Farrell? Is that good enough?
Okay, so if I were to summarize it, basically we do need to learn the biological side of things, like you said, the cardiovascular, and then we
Yeah.
can somehow see how we can put a an engineering perspective into it. I believe. Is there any way I could ask a follow-up question?
I believe we do still have time. So yeah, go ahead.
So what I'm interested about, do you, Professor, might have? For me, I believe this topic about the digital twins and the things that you have been making is on a much larger scale. And I just wanted to know if there is a smaller scale version of it that we can start studying and also start researching about. And again, I hope it makes sense. If not, I would like Mr. Iga Narendra to simplify the question.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I am sorry.
Thank you. Smaller model means in the physically small, or you mean the simple model?
I think I would say a simpler model
Simple
or a
model.
simpler application that we can do on a, let's say, smaller budget and time and technology as well.
All right. So I would like to share the screen again. This is oh, you see my screen?
Yeah, your screen is visible, Professor.
Right. So yep. So this one, a single cell, is a first order system. So ordinary differentiations, but which is a non-linear. So for these two electrical conduction, partial differentiation, and this one is the Newton's laws, the stress equilibrium, and force equilibrium equation. This is a partial differentiation. And this one is also circulation is also the lumped parameter model like this one. Mathematically, this one and this one's just the two of them is ordinary differential equations. So I think you can start from this one. It's a very simple circulation models, and you can dig in the single cell electrophysiology models. I think that's what you asked. Maybe this is this is good to start with.
Okay. I hope it helps, Farrell. Okay, it helps. I saw the thumbs up there. Lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yep. In order to be complex, as I mentioned, we need to start simple. Yeah. Thank you so much, Professor, for re-explaining what you just mentioned. And next, we have a lot of people Professor, that really want to ask questions to you. Next, we have Apri Putra Pratama, Muhammad Apri. Hello, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Is my sound
Yep.
connected?
Yeah, it's connected loud and clear. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, my name is Muhammad Apri Putra Pratama. My ID study number is 101012500043. Thank you for very insightful presentation, Mr. Lim. I have a question regarding inverse problem. You mentioned using ECG waveforms for inversely predict single cell action potential. I was wondering how does the accuracy of this digital prediction compare to traditional physical patch clamp data, especially when dealing with complex arrhythmias?
Okay. So that's a good question. So I'll just speak inverse problems from the ECG. So we measure the ECG and we predict action potential shape in the single cell in the heart. That's a very challenging things. Okay, but we are trying to do that, and we are digging on that to accomplish our purpose. So we haven't obtained the satisfiable result yet, but we are doing that. And the previous studies in the worldwide, it is some group has a good result, and so the compared to the patch clamp, from the patch clamp you build action potential shapes. Okay, that's a forward method. And from the ECG to reconstruct action potential is inverse problems. Okay, forward is much easier than the inverse. Okay, forward can predict anything, but inverse, theoretically, there's a limitations. There's no only one answer. There's not only one solution in the inverse problems. That's the limitation of the inverse problems. But we try overcoming that to obtain a satisfiable result. So yeah, not easy for the inverse problem from the ECG to the action potential shape. And the patch, based on the patch clamp, that's a very, very accurate. That's a very reliable result. Very reliable result. That's what Hodgkin and Huxley did.
I see, I see. Thank you for the answers.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. That's a nice question.
Yep. Thank you. I never thought of the accuracy of is that one-on-one or anything? Yeah, that's a very good question. And next, we also have Michelle Muhammad Avandi staying by for another question. Hello, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Am I audible?
Yep, you're audible. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. Good afternoon, Professor Lim. It is an honor for me to be able to ask questions for you in this lecture in this afternoon. So first of all, to start with, my name is Mitchell and I'm from Telecommunication Engineering. And as an information, I am currently taking my proposal for the final project under the supervision of Mrs. Puada. And the topic is regarding the development of a drug cardiotoxicity prediction application system using stacking ensemble machine learning and cloud computing. So I just want to hear your opinion. So basically, the data sets that we are going to be working are tightly related to the cardio sim that you have, because I believe that based on what Ms. Guada already told me, it is produced using that simulator of yours. And I was just wondering, do you have any other like unique way of presenting it to the normal people so that this product of prediction can be something unique So, for example, if I were to create a dashboard, do you have any perhaps other idea other than just making it as an simulator of inputting and then having the output of whether the drugs are toxic or not?
Okay. So your point is, can you say your point again?
Yeah. So the main thing is that I'm asking about your opinion. So how can I present a prediction model to the normal people and make it intriguing? So I'm trying to create a prediction model based on the data set which is retrieved from your simulator of whether certain drugs are toxic or not. And I was wondering, is there any ideas of yours of how can I, let the people use my model and make it more maybe complex and more scalable?
So are you doing with the QSAR model, or are you saying the deep learning model to classify the drug toxicity in the QSAR-based model?
I'm sorry?
Are you using the QSAR model? Or you are saying that you are using, what kind of model are you using?
It's a classification model, but for now, it's still under the development still, since I'm still working with the proposal.
So you are developing the QSAR model?
Yes.
Okay, QSAR model. You are developing the QSAR model.
Oh, sorry, Professor. Maybe I will help Michelle. This is my student.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Professor. Currently, we have collaboration with Ali in UNED. We want to developing stacking ensemble model for cardiac toxicity assessment for high, intermediate, and also low risk. Previously, Ali used logistic regression only, right, Professor? And now we want to try in the stacking ensemble side. We want to make it like ordinal, like that, Professor. So this is not QSAR, but for drug toxicity evaluation, like high, intermediate, and low risk. Yes.
So the point is,
maybe Michelle want to ask about, is there any way to make it user friendly or for using by normal people like that, Michelle, or not?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
all right. The concept is difficult, and that model is being used by the researcher in the pharmacology company or CRO. So they are the main customer of the usage of the model. So yep. So for that, user friendly. You can make a user friendly way. Okay. Is that a clear answer to you? All right.
Okay, sir. So yeah, I think it's part of my side to seek for the ways of that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for the answer, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, those are all curious students of Ms. Yunez and mine that really want to ask some questions for you, and they are asking tricky questions indeed. I can feel it. Okay, thank you so much, Professor, for your explanation and trying to help our students in their questions. I think we can move on to the next session. Once again, thank you so much, Professor, for your time and for the talk.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, moving on to our second session. We are honored to have Dr. Miftadi Sudjai, M.Sc. PhD here with us today. So, Dr. Miftadi is a highly experienced academic and practitioner in the field of telecommunication. Currently, he serves at the head of Center of Excellence in Biomedical and Healthcare Technology at Telkom University. His academic journey is extensive, holding a bachelor degree from Institute Teknologi Bandung, a master's degree in satellite communication engineering from the University of Surrey in the United Kingdom, and a PhD in wireless communication and communication system from the University of Wollongong, Australia. Beyond his academic contribution, he has a wealth of experience in consultancy and professional practice. Have worked closely with major telecommunication operators and government bodies in Indonesia on spectrum planning, satellite network blueprints, and standardization policies. His current research interests focus on the intersections of wireless communication, ICT, and biomedical engineering, especially how these technologies can bridge the healthcare gap in archipelagic regions such as Indonesia. Today, he will be sharing to us his expertise on telemedicine via satellite, a new hope to provide equitable access to quality healthcare for Indonesia's archipelagic communities. Please join me for welcoming Dr. Miftadi Sudjai. Hello, doctor, are you there? Hello, sir.
Hello, Iga. Thank you very much, for the opportunity. Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Let's share your screens first, just to make sure everyone can see your screen clearly, sir.
Okay, just a minute. Okay, can you see my screen?
We can see your screen, but not in a slideshow form. Is that correct?
Yes, let's make it as a slideshow.
Okay. All right.
So start.
Okay, without further ado, let us begin our second session, sir. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, the organizer, for me to have the opportunity to share with a distinguished speaker from Korean Institute of Technology, Professor Moo Lim. Professor, nice to meet you, and let me introduce myself. As has been introduced by Iga, my name is Miftadi Sudjai. I'm from the COA Biomedical and Healthcare Technology. So in this session, I would like to share with you the real world problem approach, especially to address the problems of equitable access of good health services throughout Indonesian archipelago. So I'm talking about actually the technology that maybe everybody has know it, but in Indonesia it has become much more important, especially when we consider about the geographic situation in Indonesia and also the distribution of population within Indonesian archipelago. So, and this is my title of the presentation, A New Hope, Telemedicine via Satellite, A New Hope to provide an equitable access for good health services for archipelagic Indonesia. So just to let you know, my student and other student from Korean Institute of Technology, as well as our distinguished speaker, Prof. Lim, sorry. This is the situation currently in Indonesia with regard of we call it Daerah 3T or underdeveloped district within the Indonesian archipelago. So roughly around 15% of Indonesian region is actually underdeveloped. You can see in this map, the red color area is what we categorize as the underdeveloped district. There are about 62 districts within 514 districts in Indonesia that have a poor access to communications, to electricity, to healthcare and education. If we say poor access means that the communication through cellular and other means of terrestrial communication are very poor. We sometimes quite difficult to have a connection through handphone, for example, in this area. So the scarcity of communication as well as the electricity in some remote villages and remote islands are quite scarce. so as to healthcare and education, because I think electricity, communication, infrastructure are related quite a lot with the healthcare. But I will tell you the situation that more cumbersome in our archipelagic area because of also the distribution of population. So this is roughly the description about the unbalanced situation between the green one. Green means that the area is actually developed quite well, while the red one is actually the province or area which is have a poor everything, poor infrastructure, communication, etc. And considering our geography of Indonesia that has around 1.9 million square land area, or 5 million including the water, with 280 million of populations spread out throughout the islands. And considering maybe this is quite rather unimaginable by our colleagues from Korea, that we have actually 17,000 islands, in which around 6,000 islands are populated with big and small islands. And the distance is like Europe, about 5,000 kilometers east to west, and 1,300 kilometers north to south. So it's quite large area comparing, I think, with Europe continent. Okay, let's move to the next slide. I can move the slide. Okay. And this is some data with regard of the uneven distribution of health facility and workforce throughout Indonesia. So if we say the situation in rural area, we can see like this picture that you can find easily in some remote islands or remote area of Indonesia. So for example, in some area, there are no paved road for the ambulance or medical services to reach out the remote villages. And I think in the Papua, for example, it's quite difficult to access the inlanders. I mean the remote villages within the Papua, for example, and some pregnant woman has to be carried out by tandu in Bahasa Indonesia, or in English by stage, or by boat, crossing the river in order to get the first aid to deliver the babies, or to do some maternal treatment for the pregnant woman. So this is just a few examples of the situation in the real world remote Indonesian. And well, by considering the development of what we call digitalization of healthcare, especially telemedicine. So the government since 2019, especially in the wake of COVID breakout, the Ministry of Health enacted the regulation with regard of telemedicine, especially with the teleconsultation, teleradiology, ultrasonography, and other things. Because during the COVID, the service of healthcare are quite limited. People cannot go easily to see the doctor or to get the very important health services. And basically, because of that, it's drive our government to promote what we call telemedicine. And since then, I think there are several companies now. Several companies are now prospering with because of providing some kind of telemedicine. So that's why in our COA, Center of Excellence Biomedical Engineering, we try to use available network in Indonesia to provide or to help the basic and advanced health services, especially for remote Indonesians. we call remote, whether it is in big islands or remote villages in remote islands that spread out from west to east, in number about 6,000 islands. So the project number one, we call it a micro telemedicine healthcare center. It's kind of a puskesmas pembantu in Indonesian. We call it that. In some village, they have a branch of puskesmas or a primary health center. So because the services are quite basics and normally are served by a nurse or a midwife, so we call it a micro telemedicine healthcare center. So in case study, we use Alor Archipelago in Nusa Tenggara Timur province. You can see there are several islands with total area of more than 2,000 kilometers square, and population is more than 160,000. And this is actually a very underdeveloped area. So access to electricity also scarce. Infrastructure of communication are also not good. So the only available signal there is actually signal from satellite, because Indonesia have a national satellite called Telkom Sat, or for the government purposes, we have a Satria 1, a high throughput satellite owned by the government of Indonesia and intended to provide education, access, health access, or government activities throughout the Indonesia, especially to cover the underdeveloped area. So we will utilize this satellite network called Satria 1 in order to try to develop what we call micro telemedicine healthcare center network. So this is the simple idea. So normally in a capital of district, they have what we call kantor dinas kesehatan or district health authority, which at least a hospital, we call it at least a class C hospital that have several basic and advanced health services. So what we'll do is we try to develop a VSAT terminal in a village, in a remote village or in an island, and a simple computing system that provide nurse, midwife to help with the basic health services, and also including the camera or video conference in order to have a teleconsultation with the doctor in the capital of the district. You can imagine that this MTH could be lie in a small island with only about 300 populations. And the distance sometimes can reach about 200 kilometers away from the mainland to this island through the sea. So roughly, we need, in order to get the basic health services by boat, we need to reach the health center in about 5 to 6 hours by boat, or more sometimes. So that's why, it is very important to provide some infrastructure in order to let the nurse and midwife can provide the basic health services by guidance of a doctor or a general practitioner from the district health authority. Oh yeah, just to let you know, our government has put the program, it is a successful program to put a nurse or a midwife in every village throughout Indonesia. We have, I think, more than 100,000 villages throughout Indonesia, and government successfully place one or more nurse and midwife throughout these villages. So every villages have their them. Yeah. But regarding the doctor, as maybe you aware that we have a huge deficiency of number of doctors, not to mention specialists. So that's why the government now have a rush program in order to increase the output of the doctor, including the specialist. But the problem is the doctor sometimes they don't want to be put in a remote islands or remote areas. So that's why this kind of MTH network will provide good and high quality health services using this technology. Okay, and the problem also worsened because of what? Because of those areas sometimes has no electricity, has no electrical access. So that's why we need also to build some kind of power generator in order to power supply the VSAT and the medical equipments, including the computer system. So that's why we developed the, we call it solar power generating system to let the MTH have their own independent power supply in order to ensure that the operational of MTH not interrupted by the unavailability or of the electrical sources. Okay, this is the roadmap of our research in developing the MTH network in Indonesia. And let's move to the project number 2 in our COE. We now currently develop what we call tele-USG, tele-ultrasonography. So basically, the real world problem now, government has purchased a huge number of USG devices and provided to every single primary health center, including the branch of primary health center or Puskesmas Pembantu. So that's why what we do is actually we try to convert the image output from the basic USG devices and then make it digital image, then try to pre-process the image and sending the image throughout the telecommunication network to the OBGYN or specialist doctor in a capital of district or in other islands, big islands that where the OBGYN is. So this kind of technology allowed the nurse and midwife in a remote islands to do the basic USG for the pregnant woman, for example. And because they don't have ability to diagnose the USG image, so this device can send the image to the OBGYN in different city through telecommunication network, and then this OBGYN will advise the midwife and the patient with regard of the diagnosis of the their baby or baby level or baby stage. So this is a very simple idea. We put some add-ons module in current devices to let the tele-UHG service can be deployed throughout the remote islands of Indonesia. So this is the a general principle of our system. So we will develop not only the tele-USG but also the applications in order to let the OBGYN can diagnose the image of the baby quite easily and quite accurately, and then distribute the image back to the midwife and the patients through the satellite. So, okay, the idea is quite simple, but the problem is now how to implement this simple problem, in order to address the real world problem in archipelagic Indonesia. So now we are developing this kind of things, and hopefully within next few months, we can come out with a commercialized product. So now we enter the incubation program in our Bandung Technopark in order to perfecting this device and the application before we launch this product to the market. Okay, project number 3 is what we call Caroling Living Lab. So the idea is actually to have a living lab that everybody can have a vital signs monitoring system independently or by self service through what we call Anjungan Mandiri or Living Lab. So this is the idea, actually simple idea. If we can put some measurement device in order to measure any kind of vital sign such as glucose level, pulse rate, tensimeter, SpO2, for example, and other kind of health monitoring system in remote islands.
Sorry, sir. You accidentally got muted. So we lost about 1 or 2 sentences there.
Sorry. Is this muted? Can you hear
Okay,
me
you're
now?
back.
Okay. Okay.
You're back, sir.
Okay. So the Care Living Lab, basically, we put the vital sign monitoring system and connected through satellite or other telecommunication network in order for the remote islanders to have checked their own health. Yeah. Sometimes with the help of midwife or a nurse, and then send this medical record to the hospital in the main islands. This just to give you some example. We plan actually to have a trial in Kabupaten Belitung Timur, Timur, that have several islands around 20 kilometers away from the mainland, from the hospital. And we put this cuddling living lab in those islands and other islands, and then people from those islands can check their own health and send the medical record to the hospital and have the proper diagnosis from the doctor of specialists, then return back the result to the patients. So the patient doesn't need to go by boat crossing the sea around 20 kilometers just to have the health check. A very simple idea, but I think we believe it will create a big impact to the remote Indonesians. Okay, this is the map of those islands. Several islands, you can see more than 10 islands within the Belitung Timur. And the left side is actually, the big one is actually the mainland of Belitung Timur. Okay, the number 4 project, we call it wireless body area network. So basically, the body area network are very well known, and in everywhere there are intensive research in body area network. So what we'll do is actually we're researching about the sensor, body sensor. Currently, we focus on the non-invasive body sensor to measure many things like ECG, EMG, EEG, pulse oximeter, glucose level, tensimeter, and edema as well, as I did with some lecturer in biomedical engineering. And then send the sensor through Bluetooth or IoT. Mostly we do it with the IoT network. So why we focus on wireless body area network? Because of the several reasons maybe everybody has known. For example, the aging society in several countries and Indonesia as well need people aging people are actually very frequent need to go to the lab to have tests, to have their health checked and other things. So if we can develop a body sensor connected with some kind of telecommunication network to the hospital or to their doctor, so basically they can monitor their health 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and so on. So by doing so, we can reduce the number of people going to the lab, the number of queuing in the hospital, and also eventually can reduce the cost of health monitoring. So that's why we currently do intensive research in this area. in order to, for example, cultivate the development of the body area network technology. And in some part, we also collaborate with Australia, for example, in order to research in the area of edge care, for example, and so on. So this kind of architecture of body area network, you can put the body at the sensor on your body or within your body, within your skin, for example, to monitor many kind of physiology of our body. By doing so, we can actually monitor continuously our physiology, so the doctor can have a big data of our physiology activities in order to make the diagnosis of our health more comprehensive and more accurate. Because as you know, from the theory of big data, if we can measure and have a big number of data, so we can infer or analyze and infer the data quite comprehensively and quite accurately, rather than like today that we can also measure, for example, blood sugar or our pulse rate once, and then we record it. Such as now our blood sugar level is 140. But if you measure 24 hours a day, we can have a fluctuation or dynamics of the health or physiology conditions, and then we can see the trend of our physiology, whether we have a quite, we call it acute disease or not. Yeah. We can have a more accurate diagnosis of it. Okay, this is a kind of differentiation of body area network level. We call it tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Tier 1 means there are some connections or communication between body sensor, and then every sensor are connected to what we call a sync node or hub. Hub means a collector of traffic from many kind of sensors. And tier 2 actually involving some gateways such as access point, for example, to transport our data of body sensor measuring data to handphone or to the other hub or server. And eventually we can send those health monitoring data through cloud or internet to the hospital or to the main doctor or to your doctor somewhere in another part of Indonesia. So basically, you can live in a small island, remote island in, for example, in Maluku, but you can have health monitoring checked by a specialist in Bandung, for example, with this kind of things. So by doing so, we can ensure the equitable access of good health services to Indonesia. These some example of real-world body area network sensor and hub, such as infrared sensor, such as endoscopy capsule pills, that carry camera and can take image of your intestinal organ and your gastro. For example, to measure whether you have a severe kalau bahasa Inggris apa ya? Or problem
gastrointestinal disease, sir. Yeah.
Gastrointestinal disease. Yeah. Yes, something like that. So you can easily take a picture to diagnose the severity of the gastrointestinal disease. Okay, this is a kind of some medical sensor they're now developing in. I think some of them are already on the market, like glucose level monitoring system. Sometimes other people call GCM, CGM, continuous glucose level monitor. Sensor for drug delivery, EEG for ECG, deep brain stimulation, capsule endoscopy, and so on. Okay, so actually the wireless body area network application not only for real-time health monitoring system, but it can also be used for sport training, military, games, personal information sharing, and other things. But in Center of Excellence Biomedical Engineering, we focus researching WBAN for real-time health monitoring system. Okay, that's all I think from me. And further, if Iga will let other students to have a question, so I will be very happy to try to answer it. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you very much for the insight, sir. Very insightful because I'm also came from telecommunication engineering, and I always wonder how can I mix my previous education and my current field that I'm working on. So yeah, thank you once again, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And mhm. Okay, so the session, Dr. Miftadi told us the main issue. Indonesia is not a small country. It's huge and it's archipelagic. Means we can't just simply drive to some places just like in Europe. How about to bring good quality doctors there? Well, we have a lot of people, right? Not as easy as that. These smart people, these high quality doctors, these specialized doctors, they simply want to stay within a big city, which is fair enough because they have spent tens of years of hard work. Those only the healthcare workers issue. But they also need big tools that takes a lot of electricity. We can't just simply deploy a power plant in deserted area, or we call daerah 3T in Indonesia. So doctors don't want to go there. People still need critically needing medical assistance, and we cannot build a big hospital in there. So the answer is telemedicine. Nowadays, we can use a long-range satellite communications to reach those places in digital world. This innovation came true from a huge collaboration between telecommunication and biomedical engineering. Well, Dr. Miftadi worked hard to develop these tools to do some critical body measurements, store it safely, and create a safe but direct communication channels to patient in need. Well, so far, Dr. Miftadi have created more than 4 products and protocol, including what we call as body area network, to theoretically connect a critical need patient in deep Papuan jungle with sophisticated tools and doctors in Jakarta. Okay, anyone? Questions? Okay, so, well, a lot of these students are from telecommunications, so I'm expecting a lot of interesting questions because it's like our, it's okay. I think Miss Yunan want to ask something. Go ahead, Miss.
Thank you very much, Dr. Miftadi Sudjai. Very insightful presentation. I have one question, Dr. Miftadi. How do you approach the security and privacy about the medical data transmission over the satellite network?
Yeah, this actually still hanging up in our research team as well about the security. We normally currently we use general security provided by the satellite network. But later we have a discussion with, for example, Prof. Hairul Anwar, in order to accommodate quantum key coding into the security in order to improve the link security and data security of our system. And then we also still researching how to improve the privacy and security to the Satu Sehat Indonesia, because every product we develop have to be comply with the Satu Sehat Indonesia, because eventually all our device and application has to fit the medical record into the Satu Sehat Indonesia. So nowadays we're still developing that security issue and privacy. But fortunately, Satu Sehat has a platform, at least have a platform for us to develop this kind of security. But again, maybe you have heard about the breach of national security in terms of our national data, right?
Yeah.
That have a big news in the world, not only in Indonesia. That's why we considering to use quantum key coding in order to improve the security. And we are actually waiting for the involvement of other researcher in whether it is in Telkom University, or maybe we can have some collaboration with the Korean Institute of Technology in order to improve the output of our research. We still have lack of other things in our research, obviously, but we try to advance with what we got now and try to collaborate with other people in order to improve our output of research. Yeah. Okay, maybe hopefully it can answer Bu Yunin questions.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you. Security is very important, so we need to ask those questions. And next we have Mas Apri Putra Pratama. Hello, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Is my audio connected?
Yep, you're audible. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, my name is Muhammad Apri Putra Pratama. I have a question about three-tier WIBAN system. Since high resolution image require significant data transmission, how do you ensure the stability of tier 1 and tier 2 communication so that no critical image are lost while transferring data, especially in a remote area with limited infrastructure?
Yeah. What we'll do, we try to first of all have to acquire a sufficient bandwidth. And fortunately, satellite Satria 1 provide up to 150 gigabit per second bandwidth, and it is dedicated for government services, not sharing with other commercial or business services. So hopefully by utilizing this satellite, we can at least ensure a sufficient bandwidth to cater the services. So with the sufficient bandwidth, obviously, the stability of image transmission can be ensured. And also we also to develop some kind of signal processing in order to compress the size of the image to avoid sending a huge or big image through the transmission channel by several methods of compressing. Along with already high order modems in the satellite network that can also improve the data or image transmission stability. So there are several actually technical effort to ensure, and we actually have done some sort of validation measurement, especially for tele-USG by Wi-Fi transmission and cellular transmission as well, that the quality of image we transmit from the device, it is quite good compared to the original one. Quite good means the bit error rate and other parameter of the data transmission achieve higher than the standard. So by doing so, we can ensure the tier 1 transmission system and other things can guarantee the quality of our image transmissions. That's what we do so far. Thank you.
Okay, thank you about the answer. I got the compression and others you doing for your effort.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So any other questions, especially to Pak Miftadi? If not, I think, yeah, we do still have time. And me, I personally have a question. I personally have a
Yes.
question. So, Pak,
Okay.
we've just heard about the power of digital twin from Professor Lim in the previous session, especially in the cardiac modeling, which he specialized. Okay, how do you see like our satellite-based telemedicine that you just mentioned acting as a delivery vehicle to bring these advanced, let's say, diagnostic insights or even simulations to remote areas in Indonesia? Because when I was studying in Korea, studying that field, I was thinking, hey, if we can just simply bring these numbers, with just maybe 1 or 2 kilobytes big, to a bigger simulation center in Bandung or Jakarta, we can, uh, first of all, we can kind of predict in the future what kind of heart disease that might develop, even though they are in a rural place in Indonesia, so they cannot act, they cannot, receive a proper treatment or ECG screening, something like that, or uh, maybe if they're in a treatment, what kind of treatment is the best. So we just simply send the information, like, they send the message back, hey, this and this drug were not quite qualified according to our simulations and stuff. Yeah, the point is, how do you see this, like the satellite-based telemedicine, as a delivery vehicle? Or maybe you are thinking even bigger than I do about the future of digital twins, like availability of digital twins and satellite-based telemedicine.
Okay. Well, first of all, we need to acknowledge the drawback of satellite network. Satellite network normally, I mean, satellite is geosynchronous satellite, as Indonesia government have one, not the Starlink one, yeah. Have
I
a
get it.
very limited capacity. Even they can provide a single satellite up to 150 gigabit per second, because the number of users, for example, from the Ministry of any kind of ministry in Indonesia, almost 100 ministry, right? Utilize the same platform. So we have to share this capacity with so many users. And when I see the digital twin as presented by Professor Lim, I think it is a 3D high quality image, right? And or maybe someday will come up with sort of a holographic digital twins of the heart, right? That you can actually see like in a Star Wars or something like that. The problem of transmitting that huge 3D model is actually they require a huge bandwidth, and that is the real problem. Because as long as we don't have a huge bandwidth through satellite, that the quality of transmission obviously will experience a serious error, a serious limitation, and eventually can impeding the quality of the digital twins. So at the moment, maybe I would say that the transmission capacity of our satellite not yet reach that kind of level that can transport these three digital twins. Maybe in the future, if we have like a constellation like Starlink, which is Sprint are now developing, they're considering developing to have their own constellation of LEO satellite. Maybe one day we can have this kind of things. And even if we buy Starlink VSAT, the maximum bandwidth, as far as I know, is the small one is only about 200 megabit per second. I don't know yet about the data rate required by the digital twin, but I can assume if this digital twin is a 3D image, I think they require a huge a bandwidth here. And maybe I would say safely that at the moment it is rather difficult to transmit that kind of 3D huge modeling through the national telecommunication infrastructure yet. Yeah.
Okay, I understand. So it's not like the fancy sci-fi movie that we're talking about. Like, we cannot
Not
do
yet.
that. Yeah. But what if it's just like maybe 2 or 4 kilobytes? So when I was studying with Professor Lim a couple of years ago, we started everything with simple numbers. Or I wouldn't say simple. Those they are there are about 20 numbers, and each of them is a float. So yeah, a float requires maybe a kilobyte, and then maybe roughly 20 kilobytes. So now
Okay.
from yeah, so to start a simulation for one person, for example, for me, it requires about 20 numbers, 20 floats for me to run into Professor Lim's simulation platform. And so now the question is, it's not about how big the data is, but how willing maybe our government or the satellite owners to use this for telemedicine purposes. So from your point of view, especially you work a lot with the government, how's their willingness to, open up just a little bit of their bandwidth for us?
I cannot say that because I'm not a government officer, right? The government has their own consideration with regard of the distribution of this capacity to every minister. Up to now, as far as I know, the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Home Affairs acquire a huge chunk of bandwidth of our satellite.
Okay.
Then after that, the Ministry of Health, actually, because they want to connect that every puskesmas, health district authority to the national health management, which is in the Kemenkes, Minister of Health. So another department as well. So that's why the occupancy of the satellite Satria 1 is quite high by these government agencies. So I don't know whether next day, but up to now, our government has no plan yet to launch the next Satria 2, for example. Not yet,
Yeah, as far as I know.
So I cannot imagine if we want to develop such kind of things, we need the extra capacity to be added on the current infrastructure. That means the government has to have a plan to increase the capacity of our satellite. And so far, this is not the reality yet. The government now is actually focusing on MBG and other things, I think. Yeah.
I don't want to get the topic into political, but once again, it's sometimes when you just reduce the data to enable these digital twins only to about 20 kilobytes, it's still about regulations and it is still about everything. It's once again, it goes back to willingness and how our government looks at our look at the telemedicine itself. So yeah, making talks like this become extremely important as well to raise the awareness for especially everyone here to know that hey, we can bring high quality medicine to any part of Indonesia these days. Yeah, so yeah, it's very important. Thank you so much, Professor. Maybe other questions arise after the talk is getting a little bit political, I would say. No? Okay, I'll open up for one more question to be asked. Okay, I think we're good. So, okay. So, once again, thank you so much for Dr. Miftadi Sudjai for this beautiful presentation and eye-opening presentations about how can we develop telemedicine, especially in Indonesia. And I also would like to thank Professor Moo Lim, who just left the forum for another errands. So yeah, thank you so much, both of you, for sharing your invaluable insights today. And yep, we have traveled from high fidelity world of cardiovascular digital twins to practical life-saving implementations of satellite-based telemedicines in Indonesia remote archipelago. Tonight's session is highlighted by a crucial point. that is future of healthcare is not just about having the best technology, but also synergy. It's about bridging the computational brains of advanced research with the connectivity through to deliver that requires us to deliver the care to those who need it the most. Well, I'm confident that these ideas discussed today, especially from in silico modeling to wireless body area networks, will serve as strong foundation for future research collaborations between computational medicine laboratory in Kumoh National Institute of Technology and our Center of Excellence in Biomedical and Healthcare Technology at Telkom University. To our participants, thank you for your active engagement and insightful questions, everyone, students. Let this be the start of our deeper academic research partnership between the two institutions as well. Fellow students, since this class also counts to your semester performance, I kindly thank all of you for submitting your session, summarizing your sessions and submitting them and being active throughout the sessions. Okay, before I give back the session back to Ms. Yunan and effectively close this session, I would like to share this one. One moment. So both of you, especially Professor Lim and you, so obviously will get a certificate. So one moment. I
Okay.
need to
Thank you very
find the
much.
certificate. Of course, because this kind of talk is really, really how can I say it becomes more important because we're not only talking something that really, really, let's say, far away, like digital twins or removing all of the sacrifices of animal testing, but also talking about how we can get these implementations quickly using satellite-based communication. Okay, so I would like to share a certificate of speaker to you, symbolically, obviously, because I'm not there. One moment. I need to share my screen now. Okay.
I'm sorry, Iga. Sorry, I have another appointment actually. Can I leave now?
Oh, okay. I'll just send it to you personally after the
Okay.
session. After I
Yeah.
close the session. Thank you so much, sir, for
Thank you.
having
You're
me.
welcome. Thank you very much. Okay. See you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Cheers. Okay, with both of our speakers left. Once again, I'm Megan Narendra. I would like to thank all of you so much for attending the session from home or from anywhere that you are currently. I'm Megan Narendra, your host and moderator. I'm signing off. Thank you. Stay healthy and have a wonderful day. Thank you so much, everyone.